of the less highly developed countries, incomes are not rising as rapidly as the desire of the community. In these countries, personal savings are low, so that only limited resources are released for the expansion of the community's capital. At the same time, the tax system provides only enough revenue to meet part of the community's desire for government services, and with very small surplus available to finance development. Under these circumstances, inflation may appear to be an easy method of providing finance to expand investment, and hence to be an easy way of obtaining capital for a more rapid expansion of output. If a government can persuade the Central Bank of Nigeria to create money to finance a development program, or if the banking system freely makes loans to private investors for the finance of physical investment, the problem of expanding the community's real assets may appear to be easily solvable. Thanks for joining us today on TV and Business Daily. I am Chiwendu Osisiago. Today we shall be discussing on Nigerians' rising inflation rate, the impact on the economy. Before we proceed with that discussion, let's look at the business stories for today. The nation's refinery lost a total of 152.08 billion naira in 15 consecutive months of being idle. The latest data from the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation have shown. Analysis of data collated from NNPC monthly report revealed that all the refineries did not refine crude oil from July 2019 to September 2020. The refineries, which are located in Port Harcourt, Kaduna and Warri, have a combined stored capacity of 445,000 barrels per day, but have continued to operate far below the installed capacity. The country relies largely on importation of refined petroleum products, as its refineries have remained in a state of disrepair for many years despite several reported repairs. The Kaduna refinery incurred an operating deficit of 57.99 billion naira from July 2019 to September 2020, according to NNPC data. Equity trading and the flow of the Nigerian Stock Exchange Monday closed on the positive note with a gain of 46 billion naira as the bulls regained grip on trading activities. The market performance indices NSE All-Share Index appreciated by 0.21%, with market breadth, however, closing negative with 19 gainers against 30 losers. Consequently, the All-Share Index grew by 86.97 basic points, or 0.21%, from 41,001.99 index point last Friday to 41,088.96, while the market capitalization of equities appreciated by 46 billion naira to close at 21.49 trillion naira from 21.45 trillion naira. On the activities chart, the banking subsector dominated in volume term with 64.12 million shares exchanged in 938 deals. The subsector was enhanced by the activities in the shares of Fidelity Bank PLC and Union Bank PLC. In all, investors exchanged a total of 333.09 million shares exchanged in 5,640 deals. The federal government is set to engage 30,000 graduates to serve as agriculture extension workers who will provide strategic support to farmers across the country. It also announced on Monday that it had empowered 20 young Nigerian farmers with an initial takeoff of 30 million naira, adding that the fund was provided through the Bank of Agriculture. Executive Secretary, National Agricultural Land Development Authority, Paul Ikone, told journalists in Abuja that the graduates would be trained in agricultural extension services, including the collection of soil samples and how to conduct soil tests. He said the approval to engage the graduates was given by President Muhammadu Buhari, adding that the extension workers will be deployed across the countries. The demand for crude oil is projected to increase by about 9 million barrels per day in future, as oil will continue to retain its largest share in the global energy mix, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries has said. Secretary General of OPEC, Mohammed Bakido, disclosed this in an address during his virtual OPEC World Economic Forum Connect meeting in Vienna, Australia on Monday. Nigeria is a strong member of OPEC as the country has been implementing the crude oil production cuts introduced by the organization to boost global oil prices since last year. He noted that all forms of energy will be needed to support the post-pandemic recovery and address future energy needs, but pointed out that crude oil would retain its largest share of the global energy mix. And that's the news update on television Nigerian. I am Chiwandil Sisiago. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back shortly.
My name is Chiwandil Osisiago, presenter of Television Nigerian Business Daily. In a globalizing world, ours is to keep you engaged, informed, and educated on contemporary happenings in the business world. We therefore command a special audience of business-minded viewers who are eager to know more about business. I mean, your business. Why don't you take advantage of our special affordable offer to let the world know about your concepts, your goods, and of course, your services? You can call us on 080-3071-6959 or 070-3234-9054. You can also visit us at Television Nigerian in Guzapi, Abuja, and follow us on all our social media handles on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, Twitter at Television Nigerian. Your business is our concern.
Thanks for joining us again on the program. And if you're just joining us, it's TVN Business Daily. Like I stated earlier, we shall be discussing on Nigeria's rising inflation rate, the impacts on the economy. My guest is a public affairs and financial analyst, Mr. John Ochai. You're welcome to TVN News once again.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, now my first question to be fast to move ahead. What can you define as inflation? Because not everybody understands the word inflation.
Thank you very much. I think inflation is a word and is the happening in the economic environment which you have been expressing over time. And what inflation is all about is an increase in the price of goods and services within the economy. Price of food in the market, food items, and other items in the market. We have household items in the market. It's on the increase on a daily basis. And then in the cost of the service you render, having in return is also expensive also as well. That is what it means by inflation. So in other words, in terms of definition, inflation is a rising of price of goods and services in the market.
So that now, is what it means. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. John. So now, what can you say about this Nigerian rising inflation rate at the moment, and what effect do you think it's actually having on the economy at large?
Thank you very much. You see, economic is a wider scope. And I can even say economy is a lifeline of every society. Because if the economic of any nation is not doing very well, the citizenry within that nation suffered. And there is also a ripple effect if the economic is having a downturn. If economic is having a decline, year in, year out, and there is no further plan to cushion the effect, there will be ripple effects in the generality of the economy. Coming back to Nigeria, inflation has been residing with us over time. The reason why I say it resides with us over time is because since 2015, if you look at the economic index, most especially consumer price index indicates we have been, the inflation has been growing to upward. It's not going down at all. As of last year, September, the inflation was indicate in the pricing, consumer pricing index stood at 13.78%. As it is right now, it has rose to 14.2%. 30-something% as it is right now, which means the CBN, who is the economic manipulator, who in one way or the other to deal decisively with the issues of inflation, I believe their hands are full, because most of those things that should do to resolve and bring those goods and services down, I think is not working. FS issue is one problem. Civil unrest is another problem. And policy somersaulting is another problem. And these are ambiguous issues. As I speak to you, the Yuletide, just the Xmas, also people rush to market, buy a lot of stuff, and because of January, people are also are afraid. Because of panic buying, people stock some goods, and that period of time, a lot of goods and services was hiked because of the demand at that particular period of time. Also is one of the factors. And also, Nigeria economic is in recession, as it is right now. And then government need to spend much money for us to come out of recessions to make sure they streamline the mitigations and other stuff that is on there. And as it is right now, none of those things have really solved the problem that is at hand now, until the CBN should come up with a new policy, because the existing policy that has been on ground is not working for the society. Until the economic manager and the CBN, who is a policy maker controlling all monetary policies, should come with a different policy that will enable the society to have effect of a change effect on the society that will continue to reduce the inflation. But as it is right now, I don't think with all this policy, things will not go back to the old way, because as it is now, we are in the new normal. But in this new normal, we need to work towards where we'll better our society. Other issues that also warrant this inflation, most of the goods we consume also are imported. And because of the international second new wave of COVID-19 and the lockdown that emerged in the international world, also hampered the supply chain of the goods and services. These are also factors that contributed to the continued increase in rising of the inflation.
Okay, thank you. So as a financial analyst that you are, would you say that the inflation rate will keep on increasing, or it will reduce, or it will be stagnant? How do you see this 2021?
Thank you very much. My dear sister, I have always said in this program, when you invite me to come and speak, I try as much as I can to be neutral, not to go the sideways in trying to support the government or support the private sector or what they could do. I try as an analyst to be neutral to ensure I don't offend the government and I don't offend the other sectors or citizens also as well. But the truth of the matter, we cannot shy away from the truth. Because immediately you shy away from the truth, you'll be lopsided. The only problem we have in this country that continue to bring this plunge of inflation is one thing, which is corruption. Corruption, who has become the order of the day until we kill corruption or corruption kill us. That is just, there is no two ways about that. Because economic managers' policies, we have been seeing all the approach they have been using over time. But you cannot continue using the same approach. All that I expected for the economic manager to do over time to reduce this kind of a problem we are having is to engage market players and engage the commercial bank and engage the investment bank to give leverage, financial leverage to the citizen, to the MSME, because there is no way this small business is the backbone of the economy. There is no way you're able to do away with MSME. And then if, as in our society as it is right now, having access to the credit market is the most difficult thing. Even if you have a business today or have business idea and you want to, source money for you to, inject into the new business you are having, you can't go to the commercial bank because the interest rate is very high. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's ranging from 24 to 28%. And if you borrow money from the from the commercial bank as it is right now and inject to your business will even collapse because there is no amortization, given to the small business who collect this loan, you understand, from the commercial bank. Because immediately when the loan is being given to you, I think the only grace, you don't even have a grace because after 1 month, the interest starts running. And within the range, because a business needs to have a lifeline. And for a business to have a lifeline, you need to give that business a holiday, you understand, to strive between 1 month to 6 months to 1 year before you are depending on that business to start paying back the loan he has sucked. But those policies have not been working. And that is why you see big corporation is invariably consuming the small corporations. That is the problem we keep having over time. So for us to balance it, to make sure the inflation is going down, we need to put a holistic measure ensuring that whatever we do to better the economy must be holistic. And for you to put that measures of holistic, you need to try as much as you can to create a credit market by reducing the interest rate in the commercial bank and for people to have access to loan and then inject to the economy. And then if there is much money in the economy, then I believe it will reduce the inflation.
Okay, what can you say more on this and the hike in food prices? Because earlier you mentioned that during the related period, food items went up because of the demand, the high in demand. Okay, now looking at when you go back to the market, a bottle of groundnut at the related period was 500 naira, but now it's 650. To tell you that things are still increasing. Why do you think it's increasing, and how will it continue to increase?
There are so many factors to that. And then I think we are aware of the factors. I think one of the factors is the cost of transportation from the retailer, from the distributor to the retailer. It's one of the factors. For instance, if you want to transport your goods from Lagos to Abuja, for you to distribute as a distributor, with the cost of fuel, and factor all the cost of fuel, cost of transportation from the transportation chain to distributing chain, and then to the retail chain, down to the consumer chain. So they are all block of chains. So for you to transport your goods from the finished goods down to the end consumer, it goes through a lot of processes. And those processes, because of the economic policy and because of the increase in fuel and increase in transportation, because every business person is there to make profit. And by the time you bring those, transport those goods and services to the market, what do you expect? You have to calculate the cost of transportation. You have to calculate the cost of the product. You have to calculate the cost of rent, and you have to calculate the cost of your personal effort that you are putting into the business. And with that, you cannot just, something ordinarily that's supposed to cost 5 naira, definitely you increase it to, let's say, 10 or 7 naira. Because in Nigeria, the market determines the control. It is not the government that controls the market. And if there is much more pressure in the market, there will be much higher price, because the higher the demands of the goods and services, the higher the price. And that is why when you look at the product in the market, you see the average Nigerian are not even concentrating on the electronics. Most of the things they concentrate on is the food items. And then if you see the food inflation as it is now, it has reached 17.8%. Because the demand for food, that is a necessity. Food is an engine, life of every human being. Because at least if you cannot eat thrice a day, you must definitely eat twice a day. And if you do not eat twice a day, you must definitely at least once in a day. So definitely the food demand is very high and is a critical to the economy. And look at it as it is right now. If you go to the north, there is a civil unrest. If you go to the north central, there is a civil unrest. If you go to the northeast, there is a civil unrest. If you go to south, as we speak now, there is civil unrest. Because there is a crisis between the Fulanis and the Yorubas. And what's brought all about this fracas? The Yoruba are accusing the Fulani that the herders are pushing their cattle to their farmland, eating up all their crops. And then the Fulani said there is a climate change in the northeast and the northwest because of the desert encroachment. And because of that reason, they are migrating from the north to the south, where there are water for them to have something to eat, isn't it? And now, because of those issues that is on ground, the government ordinarily should have engaged the stakeholder, engaged every stakeholder as the market player to ensure they resolve those civil unrest in their different strata that we are experiencing now. In the north central, go to Nasarawa Tutu. Kidnappers are there kidnapping people. If you go to Kogi, in this part of the north central, the road to Abuja to Kogi is not movable because of the banditry and the kidnapper on that road. Kaduna Abuja highway, we have been in the news hearing what is happening also. Go to the Zamfara, banditry have taken over. Go to Castina, banditry have taken over those demography and the geographical area. And this also have a ripple effect in the economy, because the farmers that are ordinarily supposed to go to farm to produce, to augment the imported food and all items we are bringing into the country, are no longer going to their farm because of what? They are afraid of the unforeseen circumstance that will greet them while they are on their way to the farm. And that is where we expect government over time. The government is supposed to have weighed in to solve these issues that we are seeing it as a pertinent. They are a bigger issues.
Because people need food.
You understand? Because people need to survive. Even you don't know what will happen in the society in the next minute. Everybody are afraid. We are all afraid. You understand? And these are things that we see on daily basis happening. The problem did not start yesterday or today. The problem has been there over time. For over 5 years now, this problem has been there. That reminds me. Does it mean that we don't have the capacity to manage our internal crisis? Does it mean that we don't have the capacity to manage our issues that is in our pan? Does it mean that we don't have the capacity to manage this communal crisis in those agrarian society? These are pertinent questions we do ask. But the reason why all those things keep persisting is that if you look at our society today, Once you have once you are in the elite group association, whatever you do, you go to cost-free. And that is why, over time, what we ordinarily should have done to reposition our state of economy back to a better position, we just paid lip service to it. And that is why these issues continue to linger to this very moment, until we wake up to the reality and begin to do the needful to ensure the right thing is being done. Then inflation will go down. But if we continue to practice this acrobatic approach methodology, and the reality is that we'll continue to experience, because now if I should ask even other analysts, what have we put in place to ensure this problem are solvable? Is it the anchor borrower program? Is it the 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira given to the market women that has no record? Even as I speak to you, ever since that all those programs have been set up, nobody have give account to Nigeria to know how much we have expended. So we keep taking money from the economy. We are not retiring the money of the economy. All those things are various issues that are affecting this inflation. I might decide to, if I'm in the position of the government today, for instance, and then maybe in given a position to take charge, and then you asked me to, give 5,000 naira cash to the market women and then the other players in the market. What happened? Since this money does not go through bank, and then we don't have any record on those whom we give this money, I can give you any figure at all that I have expended. I can put it on written and present to the federal government that this is in the 774 local governments that I have moved, this is how much I have given. I can go to press, showcase, let's say 31,000 people out of the thousands of the people that ordinarily were supposed to benefit from the people, and declare any amount to the federal government. The FCC cannot visit me because they have been given the mandate to do it outside the proper formal setting. Are you getting what I'm saying? And these are all issues that are affecting the lingering inflation that is ongoing. Because if money is not in circulation, and if there is a high tax imposition in the economy, automatically all these issues will come. Because if you tell a distributor or a producer to take his product to the market, and you don't give him a tax holiday, and he pay huge tax, he will calculate the cost of the tax, he will calculate the cost of transportation, he will calculate the cost of, there are so many costs that the cost of operation, you understand, and the running costs and other stuff like that. What do you expect him to do? So by the time maybe, let's say for instance, this phone ordinarily was supposed to cost 20,000 naira. By the time you calculate the cost of transportation, cost of tax, and it will be over-blotted. And when he's over-blotted, what do you expect? By the time he's taking it to market, he definitely want to make a profit out of it. And what happened? If ordinarily the cost of this, they are supposed to be, let's say, 20 to 30,000 naira. Right now, because of the FX exchange rate, what happened? It's like the naira is drained to dollar. So when this phone hits this market, Nigerian market, what happened? The gap increase, isn't it? Yeah. So what ordinarily is supposed to be 30,000 naira, it will hike to, let's say, 60, 70, or 100,000. So these are the pertinent issues that greet us until we sit down, have a rethink, and think out of the box and do the right thing. If you feel that the economic manager who are in the position to control our economic is not doing well, I think it is in the power of the president to lay them off and bring technocrats who understand the economy and touch the economy and put the right people in the position and do away with this nepotism that has greeted us, that are plunging us back to economic backward.
All right, thank you, Mr. John Achine. All right, now we'll be taking a quick break. Then after the break, we'll continue with our discussion. Please stay with us.
My name is Chiwendu Osisiago, presenter at Television Nigerian Business Daily. In a globalizing world, ours is to keep you engaged, informed, and educated on contemporary happenings in the business world. We therefore command a special audience of business-minded viewers who are eager to know more about business. I mean, your business. Why don't you take advantage of our special affordable offer to let the world know about your concepts, your goods, and of course, your services? You can call us on 080-3071-6959 or 070-3234-9054. You can also visit us at Television Nigerian in Guzapi, Abuja, and follow us on all our social media handles on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Your business is our concern.
Thanks for joining us again on the program, and if you're just joining us, it's TV and Business Daily. We've been discussing on Nigerians' rising inflation rates, the impact on the economy. Of course, my guest is here in the studio who has been discussing with us on that is the public affairs and financial analyst, Mr. John Achai. Okay, now we'll be rounding up in a bit. So before we round up, you were saying something about the small and medium enterprises as the backbone of the economy. So now, how would you advise the small businesses to survive in the in this rising inflation rates? It has affected their businesses. So how would you advise them to survive?
Yeah. You see, the successes of every business depends on the proprietor that runs the business. Every successes of every business depends on the promoter that promotes the business, because he is the engine room or a driving force that drive that business to the destination in which he dreams and he wants that business to get to. Because there is a saying that says that if a lifeline of a business depends on 5 years, 2 to 5 years. That is, any business that could not skate through ranging from 1 year to that 5 years will wind up, and liquidate. So I think the best measure for MSME to stay put in the business is for them to change their approach. Because as it is right now, the way we used to do our business have changed because we are in a new normal. So I think I will encourage all the MSME, because as it is right now, if the business is properly documented, it's good. And those who have not really documented their business properly through CAC, they should do that. Because if your business is registered, you can go to Bank of Industry and get a loan which is not as high as commercial bank. You can even get the loan not less than 10%, which is relatively better for the business. Then you can also ask SOX fund from friends and families and relatives to inject, and then take your business to digital, because business, and for that reason, so we should try as much as we can to push our business beyond limit where we have find the business. So therefore, average business owner or who need the startup capital, I can't advise you to go to bank for a startup capital. You can depend on your family, friends. And then you can also start what they call online crowd. When you have a very good idea, there is what they call crowdfunding. So you can go online, sell the ideas to them, so that you ask for small fractions of money. Even if it is 10 naira, 2 naira, people donate for you online. Then I think without any money you're able to raise from there, you're able to start and push the business to where it should be. So these are things ordinarily we should engage ourselves doing to bring that prosperity and the lifelines of the business of the MSME. I think it will go a long way and bring a healthy economy to our economy.
All right, thank you. So now your final take.
You see, I always say in this platform, nobody will come and build our economy. No expert from any nation will come and build our economy. The onus is on us to build our own economy, because the economic of Nigeria is for Nigerians. And the people who have the power, the ability to build this economy are the economic manager. So when you are entrusted and given a responsibility to bring economic prosperity to our world, to our economy, to better the welfareism of average Nigerian, please do so. And I advise the government to tackle the civil unrest and the economic challenges we are having, because the onus is on them. Government should speak up, and government should push up a policy not for our government to go to read economic practice of the West and replicate the same thing. Because this territory, this demography, this geographical environment, this territory is different from American territory. It's different from Britain territory. It's different from German territory. It's different from France territory. So the applications that works for them in their economy can never work for us in this economy. And we need to study our own economy, what will better our economy, so that we will not depend. The milk we consume in this country is from where? Holland. It's small an island. And we have cattle in Nigeria that we can develop a milk industry that will process it to the better finished goods within the country. But we overlook all those things. We talk about economic diversification. To this very minute, we are not diversifying the economy the way it should be. And those things cripple the economy, because the money we have in the country ordinarily cannot balance the trade receipts, because most of our money is converted to dollars and is taken away from the country because of the quest we have. If our country is well developed, if our country is well or if there is a productivity in our country, and if there is a human resources, the capacity development, all these things we are saying in there will be a thing of the past, because Nigeria will begin to think in Nigeria, produce in Nigeria, and distribute in Nigeria, and extend our distribution chain to the international community. And then the pressure on Naira will reduce, because there is much pressure in Naira. And that is why we continue having this lingering inflation that is really going up in the country. Until that is achieved, then we will be able to, come back to our state. The economic will come back to its state once again. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. John Achai, for coming on TV and Business. You've said it all, that nobody will come and build the economy for us. It is left in our own hands. And when the tax is given to you as a human being, as an individual, we should try and carry it out well for the betterment of the country. And also to the government, we should try and look into the real problem of Nigeria, so that Nigerian can be able to export to other countries, for the pressure on the Naira to be reduced. Thank you so much for coming on TV and Business today. It was good to have you.
Thank you for this opportunity.
All right.
Thank you so much.
And that's the much you have for you today on TV and Business Daily. I am Chiwande Osisiago. And don't forget that you can follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, and of course on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Do have a wonderful day. Bye for now.